This is Letitia Smith, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It with Letitia. I am talking about mental health. Yes. Mental health awareness is huge. A lot of us deal with mental health trauma from childhood. We deal with it even in adulthood because we still have unresolved issues from our childhood that has brought into our adulthood. So again, I'm just excited that more people are talking about it, speaking out on it, and realizing and understand that it's a topic that a lot of people deal with. So guess what? You're not alone. I'm not alone. We all deal with mental struggles, some of us on a daily basis. And as a business owner, I can tell you that is something that we deal with very often. So I want to bring awareness to that. So this month, we're going to be talking about mental health awareness all month long for the month of November. So today we want to go ahead and get into it. What is one of the things that we can do to help with mental awareness? I would say for me, stress management. I can't speak about that enough. Stress management is huge because we have triggers, and a lot of times those triggers is because we are not managing our stress in the way that we should. So how do we manage stress? That's a very good question. I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a licensed counselor. I am not licensed in any of those areas. So I can only tell you from what I think that management can look like. So for me, part of managing that stress is coming up with some techniques. One of the things I can say I know for me is that as soon as something happens and I'm stressed out about it, so in my case, I will say if I have a client that I am working with, and all clients do exactly what we advise them. Yes, I'm being sarcastic. One of the things that I have learned to do is to have some breathing techniques. Now, this isn't something that I just came out of thin air. The reason why I understand how to have breathing techniques and what to do with them is because I did go and see a licensed therapist. Now, I know a lot of people think going to therapy is just not good, or they're afraid to go to therapy either because the stigma that's been attached to it, or they really don't want to open up and get to the root of whatever the issues that they're having because they may feel vulnerable or feel like they're being pushed. But I can tell you for me, going through therapy has helped me in so many ways. I actually started my therapy process when I was going through my divorce several years ago. I, along with my children, was in therapy, and just to go through that process, that transition on going from being married to now being a divorced mother of 3 young children, what that will look like. What is it that we need to do to make sure that, my kids, although they were affected, and they would be, as well as myself, we can be able to manage that stress with being affected. And one of the ways was to be able to have breathing techniques to do that. And so now when I'm triggered for things that comes my way, whether I'm stressed about something, I now know how to take a moment and breathe to allow myself to relax, to not react, so that now I can figure out how to process whatever I'm feeling in that moment and be able to move forward. Now, I know that may sound insignificant to a lot of people, and it may very well be, and that's okay. What I can tell you from my own personal perspective, my own viewpoint, it helped me out tremendously. Now, what I can say is going to therapy, it wasn't easy. And I'm going to tell you it's not going to be easy. I initially started off going because I was going through a divorce. But, life happens like everything else. And so through a divorce and then, other life changes, that type of therapy it evolved, and even the therapist evolved over time. In my opinion, I feel like it doesn't matter what age or what stage you are in your life, you need to have some outlet to be able to vent, to have that support system, and that will change depending on where you are in your life. It may be a therapist, it may be a life coach, it may be a business coach, it may be your spirituality, that you're learning how to take, more times for prayer and meditation. It may be speaking to a pastor, whatever your religious beliefs are, that may be your way of dealing, with your mental awareness, your mental health, and being able to go through that. Whatever it is, you just need to acknowledge it and you need to deal with it. One of the things that I would say too, in helping with your mental health and your stress management, is to do something fun and happy and nice for yourself. And it doesn't have to always involve spending a lot of money. It can be something as simple as watching one of your favorite shows. It could be something as simple as journaling. Journaling is a great way, I can say, to help you to deal with your stress management. That also was another thing that I learned in going to therapy, not realizing until I had a conversation with my mother that I have been journaling since I've been 9 years old. I've always been a person that maintained a schedule or wrote things down. I just didn't know that it was called journaling. And so even now, 30 plus years later, I still do it. And I can tell you, for me, a lot of times that helps as well. It's definitely helpful in the business field. If you are upset with a client or you get an email that was sent to you and it automatically triggers your stress and you're upset, it makes you pause, journal about what you are feeling in that moment, get all those emotions and all those frustrations out so that now you can reply to it in a professional manner. So again, I can't stress enough why we have to continue to raise awareness for mental health. It is something that is, in my opinion, going to be here until the day we are called home. So why not address it while we're here and find ways to be able to successfully and healthily deal with our mental trauma. So again, thanks again for watching this episode of Let's Talk About Letitia. We appreciate your time. You have a wonderful day.